Previously on Coruscant Nights.
Right-o. And Peabo kind of stands up, shakes himself down in a very kind of animalistic, almost like a whole body shake. Ah! Takes a swig from his canteen, pops it back in, and when he kind of slumps, just for a second or two, just kind of slumps down, his shoulders down, and his left hand, he grips the pocket containing the ID tags taken from his dead comrades. And just for a second, it looks like everything's getting a little bit on top of him as suddenly he's realising the enormity of what he's facing, what he's doing, and the fact he's basically having to do it on his own, just him and K-Tag. All his friends, apart from K-Tag, are dead, and there's just him against the entire clones, against potentially the Senate, and who knows how far this goes up. Might be the Chancellor for all that he knows. And there's just him. And then he stands tall again, lifts his chin up, and then walks forward with purpose once again.
He begins to stow his datapad, and there's a little ping from it.
Okay. He kind of stops in his determined stride. And there's a very awkward moment as he kind of looks at K-Tag, and K-Tag looks at him, and they both kind of look at his data slate, and he slowly takes it back out of his pocket and looks at it.
And there's a message. You're leaving a trail.
Who is this? This is a second... Right, okay. Who is this? Why did he tell me to run?
An ally. Our objectives overlap.
Trust is hard to come by these days. How do I know you are who you say you are?
You don't.
Fair.
But I can give you information.
I'm listening. I'm used to working with sources off the record. But first, what do you want from me?
Information.
Now you're talking my language. Is this channel going to be open in half an hour or so?
Yes. Alternatively, find a public terminal. Message boards. Neelig 99.
We'll speak when it's safe.
Information is a weapon. Use it wisely. And you hear a scrambled voice.
You're close. The senators are the right choice. Greer Sinlan, Baxam 4. He's a senator from the Outer Rim. The systems close by to him have seen troops diverted at inopportune times, while his system has remained protected. He should be on the list that we know you have. Get the rest of the information that you need, and we will contact you.
And the call cuts out.
And I reply with, and that's the price then. What I get, you get too.
An even trade. Is that an even trade? It's not really an even trade, but that's what they send you.
And also, I did get a despair. It's never going to be an even trade with a despair.
Mm-hmm.
Negotiation, not my strong point either. Okay. The last thing I'm going to send before I leave then is, if you get this, make sure it comes out at the right time. What you're getting from me is a slug thrower, but it'll only have one bullet in it, so make sure you use it when the guard's down. Do you understand?
You get a single word again. Yes. And the computer screen clicks off and goes black.
Right. Okie dokie. And I'm going to use those advantages. Now that we've been given a specific name, what I want K-Tag doing in the background is not reading through their manifesto. It's plotting me a path to that senator's apartment that will keep me out of the sight of the cameras. So that's all those advantages basically being burned on finding me a secure route there.
Okay.
I also try to turn the computer back on to see whether or not they've fried it or if it's just been turned off.
As you bend down to push the button to turn it on, you get the smell of fried computer parts. I'll flip for that because that's mean.
Okay. I shrug. I go over to the Chadra fan and go, thank you. I'm sorry to say that it looks like your computer's shorted out a little bit, so here's another 50 credits towards the repair bill. I'm sorry. I know it's your livelihood, and you shouldn't need to suffer for something like this.
The chatter friend doesn't even look at the credits you put on the counter. He just says,
jeez.
And runs over to the computer to see what he can do.
Yeah, well, I leave the creds on there. Because, he's a civvy. It's not his fault. I'm heading out the back again. Thank you again, friend. Stay safe.
You too.
He calls from underneath the desk.
And we head out of the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
The path that K-Tag has plotted relies heavily on the sewer system. You climb down a grate and head in. This branch of the sewers is dark. I think at this point the sun has definitely set. This is not a portion that sees the sky. It sort of takes you up and over towards this portion of town. Here and there, here you spot strange things growing and glowing, and it's a little out of the ordinary for Coruscant, but it's weird, but it's not that weird.
It's weird to me, but not necessarily for Coruscant.
And eventually you get up to Sereno Heights. As you look with your weird eyes out a sewer grate, you spot the sky again, the buildings rising up hundreds of stories into the now clear air. It seems that the battle, for the most part, at least in this part of town, is near its end. You spot a ship every once in a while flying past, and you don't see all that traffic that normally dots the skies. It is surprisingly calm.
Well, let's hope they've still cleared him out and haven't moved him back in yet. Okay, let's see if we can find a decent vantage point overlooking the place where we can get a good scope out of the area.
K-Tag shows you exactly where it is on the holo map that they've got. It is in the middle of one of these tall buildings, not the penthouse or anything like that. And there are a few buildings close by that if you were to get towards the top of them, you would be able to see through the windows and everything. From where you are, you could probably spot at least if the lights are on or not.
Yeah, well, that's what I'll do. Preliminary scouting, checking to see if the lights are on as I go past, and then looking for a higher vantage point to get a better feel for the layout of the compound and what sort of forces are there. And
I just had a fun idea. I'm going to flip my last dark side point over, because as you begin to look to see if the lights are on, you notice that no lights are on in this section of the city. The power's out. You can see the stars.
Oh, this ain't boding well. Well, one or two things is going to happen here, K-Tag, me old muckerino. Either all of the locks for this place are going to be wide open, so we'll just be able to saunter in, and then it's simply a case of trying to find an internal Jenny or something similar to get some power going into their computer system. Or, worst comes to it, and it almost certainly bloody well will, all the power's out, all the locks will be locked in the lock position, contravening fire safety, and we're not going to find anything except a messy death. But it's the best chance we've got, and it's our only major lead at the moment, so let's risk it. Worst comes to it, maybe there's some data slates we can pocket. We'll find something, lad. Come on. Right-o.
All right.
Let's get an oversight of the compound first of all, see if we can work out our best way of getting in. At least we don't have to worry about security cameras and that sort of thing, though. You know, got to look on bright side. And I tell you, those are some beautiful stars.
Can you see Antar?
And you hear K-Tag's cameras trying to zoom in here and there.
Buggered if I know, mate. Buggered if I know. I'm no astrogator or astrologer or astronomer or anything really for to do with stars, but I'd like to think so. Maybe she's watching over us even now. Make her knows, I'd certainly do with a bit of blessing from her at this moment in time. Anyway, getting maudlin. No time for that now, we've got a job for to do. Let's crack on. And I'm going to head to see if I can find somewhere nearby where I can get a story up or two and see if I can get an overview of the compound.
Sure. So there are some newer apartments, partially constructed, that I think you could get pretty high up in without really running into anybody.
I do so.
All right. You hop the fence and start making your way up. It's a lot of stairs. It's a lot of scaffolding. But you make it up to a place where you can pretty easily see into Senator Sinlan's apartment.
What species is the senator?
He's human.
So at least I don't have to contend with this room being filled with the poisonous gases of Gand, or that room being entirely underwater. So no, it's all...
Yeah, you don't even have to contend with them being able to see in the dark.
Yeah. Good.
It looks empty. You don't see any movement. It's definitely dark. It looks big, maybe even almost the whole story, the whole floor that it's on. Let's say you can spot a hallway where you can see almost straight through.
Right. Okay, then. Let's get in there. And I'm going to see how many entrances and exits are there to the compound, first of all?
There's a main entry. It looks like they would have a sort of a reception desk or something like that. There's probably also a loading dock around back.
I'm kind of picturing this, that it's got like it's high walls with like a self-contained garden and then the various buildings in there. You know, like the old style... Yeah, like a proper compound rather than it being just a building. Kind of
sure.
Like having, an outside area so the senator can stand. Because I imagine at this point as well, them being a senator, that we're high enough up in the various tiers of Coruscant City that we're above the air pollution. There is the sky out there and the stars. They do get some actual rain that's not acid rain. So having an outside garden for them to go out and have trees in, it's a big show of power having a garden that's open to the air. And if there's one thing that senators are going to do, it's show off that power. They can't all be Padme Amidala. You know, there are going to be some out there that will flex.
Yeah.
And if he's the sort of senator that can be corrupted, as we suspect he is, he's a sort of senator who's going to flex.
Right. So it is a compound. There's a wall around it. There are gardens on levels, multiple buildings in it. There appears to be one main building that is the tallest, while there are a few other ones surrounding it. And each one of those has balconies, small garden areas, and the ones that you are above, you can see that they have more garden areas on the roof.
Okay.
Nice looking statues, fancy art, that sort of thing scattered around those, and trees. You can also see that there's a parking garage below this entire compound.
From what I know about either the schematics of this place or from just generally the job, the links to the senatorial computers, they're not going to be just on every room. I imagine it's going to be the reception desk will have something similar, then the senator's private office, and that's going to be it, really, isn't it? I can't see there being too many secure data terminals around. Okay.
I think it might only be the senator's office.
And at present, I don't have any idea where that's going to be, do I?
You've got an idea of the level, the floor that it's on, but the layout of that, probably not.
Right-o. So, first things first, we need to get in there. Now, they're going to have guards at the front, assuming the senator's even here, and it might well be that they've evacuated the place entirely, what with the blackout that's gone on over here. But if there are security forces still on site, and they almost certainly will be at least some, they're going to have some in garage, because that's where people are going to be for entering. They're going to have some in reception, because that's where people are going to be for entering. And they're going to think that that's the only place he's in. Fortunately, flipping a light side point, this being a construction site, someone's left a ladder over here. So I'm going to go over wall. They won't be expecting that, I imagine. And from there, we might be able for garden hop beneath the cover foliage to get to at least a window and get us inside a little bit. So I'm going to take the ladder, sidle over to one of the walls, the nearest wall that I can that looks like the ladder will get me within jumping range to grab on and pull myself over. And I'm going to send K7 up to have a quick look over before I do. And then I'm going to, ideally, try to get over the wall.
Yep, the gardens are clear. I'd say the ladder maybe takes you 3/4 of the way up, but being related to undulates, it's not difficult to scale the rest of it. I'm imagining you're just like walking sideways up the rest of the wall.
Yeah. Spider goat. So yeah, over the wall and into the gardens. And then once I'm over and into the gardens, I'm going to hunker down. I'm not going to combat crawl, but I'm going to hunker down and ideally use the foliage that's in there to block as much line of sight as possible to where I am. I'm going to have K7 lower all of his running lights down as low as they possibly can go so that he's not giving the game away. And then I'm going to sidle over towards the building.
Okay. You don't spot anybody on your way to the building. The grounds are flat. There are some benches here and there, some water features that are probably powered by the electricity. There aren't any fountains or anything going right now. It's oddly quiet, especially considering the battle, which if you were to turn around, you would still see the orange light on the horizon of distant fires. And you make your way towards that main building.
We might have looked out, K-Tag. It might well be this place has been properly evacuated. Which is good. That should give us a little bit of time. Righto. Now, let's get inside and then see what we can see. And yeah, I'm going to try and get to one of the windows and see if I can make my way in.
Yep. Going in through one of the ground floor windows.
And then, when I'm inside, I'm going to use one of my other talents. And I'm going to use Inside Knowledge.
Great.
And how Inside Knowledge works, so you know, is once per session. When in an enemy facility or vessel may perform the Inside Knowledge check. It's a hard skullduggery check. If I succeed, I can either find a single personal scale item with a rarity no greater than 5, or gain a narrative benefit. I wonder what I'm angling for here. So I'm going to make the roll. Get in! 2 success, 1 advantage. And my narrative benefit that I'm looking for is there is a emergency backup generator that no one's turned on somewhere, possibly in the bowels of the place. But once you've been in one, like now I'm actually in here, I can look around, I can go, all right, well, that compound might be different and that room might be in a different place, but I've been in enough similar buildings, it's another prefab. They all just get them from like a template thingamabob, which means there should be an emergency backup generator, which will give us enough power that I can power up the Senator's study. Maybe nowhere else. I mean, hopefully nowhere else. I don't want to turn whole lights on in place and give the game away. So if we're lucky, it'll be in breaker room. So I can flip down breaker switches on everything except his study. But there is a Jenny around here. Right. Keep it quiet. Follow my lead. And I'm drawing my pistol, clicking it onto to stun for the moment. And I'm going to start sneaking through the abandoned, eerie, dark, and far too quiet corridors down into the maintenance level, effectively.
Yep, that's exactly where it is. It's a large level just below the one that you snuck into.
So yeah, sneak my way down and into there, and I'm going to look around, and I think because it is a little bit cheesy, I'm going to flip a light side point and say that where the generator is, there is a series of circuit breakers, so I don't have to light up the entire compound.
They're huge. It's a wall-spanning circuit breaker.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that there's still going to be some bleed out of lights, because also that makes, more interesting for story. I just don't want the entire compound lighting up when I turn the generator on. So yeah, I'm going to flip down as many as I can to try and isolate it to the Senator's study area. Which will have the side effect, I imagine, of turning on any security that he might have in that room as well.
Would, yeah.
But, there we are. You can't feed a Minoc without draining a starship. So I'm going to get that up and running. Right, one step closer.
Do you only turn on that one, or do you turn on some other distraction ones here and there throughout the other building? Because I imagine this compound is all centrally located with this main building.
Yeah, I probably am, just as you say, just as a bit of a... Or do we want to try and keep our footprint as quiet as possible? Because it might be that no one notices that the Senator's office is on, in which case turning on anywhere... No, I think he's too cautious. I think he's just going to turn on what he wants to turn on, and he'll deal with any other distractions that might cause as it comes. What I'm also going to do, in fact, I'd like to have done this a little bit earlier, if that's all right, as we kind of got the Senator's name and details as the next step up in the chain, that's gone into K-Tag's encrypted evidence files as well.
Okay.
Building the case.
So typically you would be able to take a lift up to this senator's apartment. And in buildings like this, since you've been in similar ones before, you would know that it is a private lift, one that would go directly into various people's homes with a keypad and key codes and all that sort of stuff. So without power, that's probably not an option.
Are there no sets of fire escape stairs, or is it once again Star Wars showing its blatant disregard for health and safety?
There may be a set of fire escape stairs, not on the outside of the building, because this is... they're...
It's all right. I have a cunning plan, and that's to go to the lift. And yes, there will be no power to the lift, which means that it won't take me up and down, but there's no power to the lift, which means I don't need a secure keycard to open it. I just need strength and patience, and maybe a mechanics test. So what I want to do is I want to open the lift doors and get in, and then open the hatch, because there will definitely be an access hatch, because otherwise the lift won't work. And I want to get in the access hatch, and ideally, however we need to make this transition, and then using K7 as a light, slowly climb the shaft.
Okay. So you leave this maintenance area and head around to the main lobby where this lift would be.
Yeah.
And as you get into that lobby, I will flip a dark side point. You spot the beams of 2 glow rods coming around the opposite side.
Buggers. Right. Oh, okay. Lights down, K7. Let's see if we can find somewhere we can bide our time and wait for these to go.
You hear their conversation around the corner.
I tuck in kind of behind one of the statues of the senator, kind of just hiding behind the statuary.
Why do you think they're going to get the power back on? Oh, I don't know. It's something like this. Planet-wide, this whole thing. Might be days. But they better get it back on soon. I mean, if this place doesn't stay up and running, I don't know. And they continue their march around.
I give them working out how long they've been taking, how fast they've been walking. Am I right in thinking that they're going to have a fair bit of a way to go down before they would turn around and come back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an excruciatingly slow pace.
That's fine. I will wait until they're out of, until they're far enough away, maybe you've turned the corner, and then very, very carefully pad my way over to the lift, taking out my small pry bar and jimmying the doors open to the lift. Okay.
It's important, so I won't make you roll. You jimmy the doors open to the lift. It is dark.
Once I'm in and I close the lift doors behind me, I'm then a little bit more relaxed because they won't be able to see any lights from inside. And I have K7 put his red light on again because it's a lot better to see in the dark.
Yep.
And use K7 to help me, get the access hatch off, climb up to the top, and then is there a cable leading up, or is it like a hover lift?
It would make sense. It would make Star Wars sense for it to be a hover lift.
That's okay.
But I think it would make Coruscant Nights sense for it to be a cable-based thing. It's actually one of the people who live in this place are of the level of pretentiousness where looks are very important. And the look of this lift, as you opened it, you saw that there was one of those expanding metal grates behind it. It is very old-fashioned.
It's proper retro chic.
Yep, it's decorative. Yeah. So yeah, it has a cable.
Okay, then I put on some thick electrician's gloves, which you have to carry so you don't get electric shocks. I have learned that from watching other engineers to protect my hands. And I'm going to take my time because I'm not... If I start to panic at this stage, all fall down. So again, there's just going to be 5 seconds of circular breathing just to recenter himself. And then he's going to start climbing the cable slowly but steadily. He's not going to rush. He's going to take his time, make sure he's got strong grip, and make his way up with K7 lighting the hand lights until we get to, presumably, the penthouse.
It's only about halfway up, so it's not quite as scary as it could be. It does take a while. It's work, but you get there.
Do you want me to cross off some strain?
I suppose. Strain is a fair trade for not having to roll and fall to your death.
Yeah, if I chalk up 2 strain, does that seem fair?
That works for me.
Yeah, I'll chalk up some strain, and then just for the exhaustion, well, the physical labour of it. But luckily, the door to the lift in the senator's room is part of the thing that's powered. Maybe. I will flip a light side point, and the circuits, it won't open the inside of the lift doors, but it will open the outside. So I've got a lot less to have to try to jimmy while keeping a handhold.
Yep. Okay. That works for me.
And make my way into the Senators. Again, I'm going to open it a little bit to begin with, and then have K7 kind of sticking to the ceiling, sidle in and see what, if anything, he can see in there first of all.
Yep. And you get K-Tag's voice, electronic voice in your ear.
It's pretty dark in here. I think I see a light from under one door. That might be the one you put the power to. I don't see anybody.
Right. Well, I'll make my way in, and then I'll see what I can feel. So I'm going to open up, crawl in as quietly as I can, tuck myself away down, basically against the wall, take my horn baffles off, and again spread out my electromag sensory awareness, which I imagine is going to be giving me some weird signals, because I'm effectively in a dead zone.
You are.
Barring K-Tag and whatever other security systems / computers are running in the Senator's room. So I imagine that over and above any actual people within short range that may or may not be up here, there is going to be this almost like toothache in a wisdom tooth, kind of from the fug, the electromagnetic fug.
It's like if part of your brain could feel like your hand is asleep.
Yeah.
Sort of a buzzing, warm, cold electricity feeling.
Yeah.
You get into this main area of this person's apartment. Looking around, you can see that it looks like it spans 2 floors. There's a staircase off to the left. And there's like a nice... It's not a red ball organ, because those are kind of goofy looking. It's something nicer than a red ball organ off to one side. And there's a lot of stone. It may even be real stone. And as you take off those baffles, you get that buzz from K-Tag, and distant the room, you can see the light under the door. And from the center of this place, you can tell that there are 4 people. And you can sort of get an even more muffled sense that there are 4 people a few floors above you, and they're in a similar place. There's a group of people in the floors below you, and they're all like right in the center of this building.
Is the Senator's room that I'm aiming for where these people are on this floor?
It's not.
Okay.
Having been in buildings like this, having been in war zones, you get the idea that might be some sort of like safe room.
Yeah, okay, panic room
kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. That will also presumably have its own power supply independent in the panic room, even over and above. Okay, well that's good, because if they're in there, it means they're not going to be coming out and bothering me. So I sidle my way over to the door where the lights are coming out of.
Okay. Opening it, you see the Senator's study. It's large. It has those windows looking out on the green space outside. There's art on the walls. There's some statues. These senators like their statues. And a desk with a computer on it.
I come in, I lock the door behind me, and I assume the door opens inwards, or is it a swooshy door, or is it a swingy door?
It's a swooshy door.
Oh dear, a little bit harder to jam with a chair then as well. Okay,
you've got a blaster, but I don't know if you want to make that sort of noise now.
No, I'm not yet working on Star Wars door logic. I was kind of hoping I could just jam a chair under it. Okay, well that's all. Well, I engage the lock from the inside anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Make my way over to the Senator's desk, take a look around to see if there's any immediate booby traps around it. I imagine there's possibly a camera in here that's now running, but there is literally nothing I can do about that at this stage that's not exceedingly obvious.
Yeah, there are definitely some security measures in here. You spot on the windows, they've got the little box that the windows are probably alarmed in some way, and yeah, there's probably a security camera in here. It's probably one of those. It's probably small. It's probably hidden up in one of the shelves or something like that.
Well, it's do or die time now, so I'm going to sit down at the desk, put my pistol on the desk in front of me, close to hand in case I need it, crack open my kind of espionage kit, and again, just 5 seconds, centering myself, look at K-Tag. All right, lad. Let's get to work. And I'm going to hack the planet.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to slice into the Senator's computer system.
Okay. Let's have a computers check.
I'm flipping a light side point automatically because
Okay.
I think I'm going to need that.
Okay. I will happily flip a dark side point to add a red to your pool.
Okay.
And it can be another one of those where you choose the difficulty.
Can I argue a boost for K-Tag?
Yes.
Can I argue another boost for the various security protocols that I've accrued along the way?
So you got
I've got
clone and 2 clone ones.
I've got 2 clone ones. But
Sure,
the
yeah.
more recent clone ones will still... Because that's where I got the Senate link from. So there might be something lingering there that will help me force my way in.
Okay. If you're using those, I think they should also get a setback.
Okay, that's fair.
Because there was a despair on that roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That person may be aware that their credentials are compromised.
And this is it. This is for the money. So I think I'm going to go large. And I'm going for what would otherwise be a 4 purple test.
Okay.
So that's 3 purples and a red. Because I think to get this proof, to get this evidence that I need, I'm going to have to go deep. I'm going to have to go right in.
I think you will. It won't be just there on the desktop.
Yeah. And I think a 4 purple test seems about right for that. Okay, so for the listeners, 3 purple and a red versus 2 yellows, a green, 2 blues, and a setback. Just to round everything off. 1 success. Nothing more, nothing less. A single solitary success and an awful lot of cancelled dice. But no despair and no triumph.
Yeah.
So, it was very nearly squeaky bum time, as I was a bit like, does that advantage cancel that threat? Yes, it does. I have 1 spare advantage, right. Okay, good. Whew.
So you sit, center yourself for a second, put your blaster on the desk, flick the monitor on. The senator's computer is clean. There's almost nothing on it. He probably takes his files with him or something along those lines, or stores them in the Star Wars equivalent of the cloud. And you are able to go through his various connections and into the other systems that he has, probably even going through the computer systems at the Senate itself. And you are able to find more important files. You find that this senator is tied to an organization, a very off-the-books organization with a few other important people in Coruscant that are trying to swing the war in a particular direction. And it's not necessarily a win-lose direction, it's a continuation sort of thing.
Is it the kind of thing where if I knew that these people were arms dealers, then it would look like they want this war to continue because they're selling guns to both sides, and as long as there's war, then they're all making money. But they're not arms dealers. But it's that kind of thing.
Like that.
They're playing both sides for their own benefit, and the fact that there's this instability and conflict works in their favour. It's just that their motivations for why they're doing that aren't quite so obvious.
Yeah, I think with that 4 purple check, they are attempting to move the pieces around to cover up other things that they are doing. They are taking troops from one place and moving them to another place so that they can send their people to that first place and do something that nobody else notices.
Do I have a name for this organisation? I mean, or if not a name, do they have a euphemism that they refer to each other as, so that they know that they're all coming from, like the League, the fraternity, the fellowship?
It's like that. It's the Dims.
Well, okay.
And as you come across that name, I'll flip a dark side point over, and K-Tag takes a second and sort of hovers off, and looking out the window, he says to you,
I think somebody's noticed the power's on.
Do I have the proof that this senator is the one who sent in the kill order on us as well, or the capture order on us? Do you think I got that deep, or with that 1 success, is that not enough to get that final bit?
The way I see it, 1 success is still a success. And based on that difficulty, I think yes. They saw your proximity to them and decided to do something about it.
Right, okay, we've got to get out of here. I'm going to send those files across to K-Tag, so he's got them.
Okay.
And also basically put in the protocol of... Basically, as we're getting... right, okay, we need to get out of here. How many are coming? Looking out the window, fella, how many can you see out there? Because I'm still typing away as them.
There's 3 people running here. One of them's on their comms.
All right, then. Let's get away. Look, I'm sending you the last of these files. Your primary objective, if I don't make it out of here, is to get that back to mission control back on Antares one way or another. Jump onto the... find yourself a network connection. Send it encrypted to AAN. Also, when you do that, send it out to... And I put in basically the I imagined that when I was dealing with Neelig 99, there was some form of address, like a burner account for me to send the data to as well.
Yep.
Send it there to when you send it to AAN. If you can't get to a secure connection to AAN and it looks like we're both going to be for it, just send it directly encrypted to that account. One way or another, this needs to get out of there. People need to know about this.
Okay, we're gonna get it out. We're both gonna get it out.
We certainly are, but contingencies. Right,
Okay.
let's go. And yeah, I'm not going to be malicious and try to trash his files because I don't think I've got time at this stage. We leave his office. Are we going to get out of here? Okay, well...
Do you have your baffles on currently?
I probably put them back on to work on the computer because I needed to dull the signal, so yeah,
Okay.
I probably do in fairness.
Okay.
Right, can't go out through the window, it's too obvious they'll notice us. Back in the lift, an upper floor I reckon, see if we can't get away from the roof. But if they know we're going to be here, they're going to expect us to run down, so we run up. And I run over to the lift and I open the lift up. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye out to make sure the people haven't left the panic room.
Okay. I think this is the one where we need to roll to see if you can open the lift.
Okay, that's fine.
Because we've got a time limit.
Yeah. Mechanics, computers.
I'll take mechanics, athletics, coordination.
I will go with mechanics.
Okay. Average with a setback for time.
Okay. And I don't think I can legitimately argue a boost for anything at this stage. Yeah, other than that, I've opened it before, so I know there's power going to it.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. 1 success and 3 advantage. Nice enough.
You get that lift door open.
For my advantages, I don't know how cheeky this is for 3 advantages, but the next floor up, on the inside wall, effectively, to where the parallel suite is on the floor above, okay, that's a doorway. Opposite there, however, is an access hatch, which leads into basically the maintenance tunnels and the ventilation system.
Okay. Yeah, I can go for that.
Is that worth 3?
Yeah.
In which case, that's where I'm going to be aiming for.
Okay.
And I imagine you're going to want an athletics test again to climb this. It's going to be pressure of time.
I think, actually, as you go up and you open these doors into the space above you, you make your way across this apartment to this staircase, and you hear people in it below you. So a stealth check.
Okay. I'm flipping a light side point to upgrade my pool. Difficulty?
So there's a decent amount of space between you and them, so you can have a boost. But I would like it to be hard.
Okay.
3 purples.
Okie dokie. Ooh. Uh-ohs. 3 failures, 1 advantage.
Okay. As you open the door for this is a door with hinges. It squeaks like nothing else. And it echoes up and down. And you can hear the people below say, "They're upstairs." And that voice didn't come from very far down. It came from about 2 levels down.
Okay. For my advantage, I would like to lock the door. Because I imagine these kind of fire escape almost to get up and down. So either break the bar that would open it, or jam it closed with something, or if I need to use my survival knife just to almost like spike it closed and buy me that little bit of extra time, I will. But yeah, just to buy me a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think you kick it. Do Godels have hooves, or do they
I don't know if they do, but I think they should, so I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, yeah, you kick it with one of your hooves and it dents and will be difficult for them to open.
Yeah. And then realizing that at the moment, I just need to get somewhere out of the way before I can then start sneaking. So I'm going to start running up the stairs.
Okay.
I'm not too worried about being sneaky at this point in time because, that ship has hit hyperspace, at least for the moment.
You get a fair way up before you hear the boom of somebody finally getting that open as it swings and hits the wall behind it. You're pretty close to the roof.
Are there any other doors into any other suites on this level?
Many. You've got a dozen levels between you and the door to the roof.
Okay. I'm going to duck into one of the nearby, basically into one of the adjacent suites for the moment. And what I'm hoping to do is basically make my way across this floor to the other side and then go down, either down the stairs on the other side of the building as they're running up, or else get to a point where, because you said the gardens were multi-tiered, to a point where I could get out of a window and into the garden with a fall that won't kill me.
Sure. Yeah, you enter this next suite. Do you want to describe it for me? Tell me what this place looks like in the dark.
Yeah, well, because all the power's off, so all the maglocks that keep everything normally closed are closed.
Yeah.
The doors are all shushers, so I've got to kind of yank it open and then yank it closed behind me. And I imagine that this is one of the staff rooms, because you've got to get to it through the stairs, which I imagine are almost like the servants' quarters. They're so the staff can get around the building without being seen particularly. And again, it's a status symbol for some senators to have sentience work for them, because they could very easily have droids that do all the cleaning and the housework, but the fact that they can afford to employ people to do this is yet another flex of their status and power. Some senators do it because they actively want to employ people and enrich their lives and give them a career and put money in. Others, like this person, do it because they're showing off. And I imagine they treat their staff very poorly. Yeah. So this is a series of staff quarters, and it's so there's a couple of open doors where there's cleaning products and that sort of stuff.
Large laundry machines. Yeah,
there's a couple of bedrooms that are empty, that are all a bit sad, really. I imagine it's steel frame bunk beds and narrow wardrobes and not a lot of personality.
They're all interior rooms, no windows.
Yeah. And as we go past one, there's a brief pause where there is a poster that someone's put up of Chendraza and the core drivers that's been treated with glow-in-the-dark paint. So, but it's fading because there's not been a lot of light in here. But it catches Peabo's eyes as going past. Just these little tiny bits of personality that are scattered throughout these rooms that otherwise are very austere and soulless. The staff have been evacuated as well, not because the senator is concerned about their safety, but the senator and the other guests here are concerned that they might steal from them in the environment. They wouldn't, because that's not the kind of people that I imagine they are, but the senator doesn't trust anyone because they're inherently untrustworthy, and distrust breeds distrust. So they're out of here, but there are these just little touches of sapient, well, not quite humanity, but the personality
I'm
around.
sure they're all happy to have been evacuated too, because they all have family on the planet. Well, many of them do. Those who haven't immigrated for a better life. Yeah, they're off probably in the lower levels with their siblings and parents and hutches and whatever other family groups they have. And on the opposite side, you do see those stairs.
So I'm going to skid to the stairs and listen down them just for the moment, see whether or not there's anyone running up them or running down them.
You hear quiet footsteps above you, moving, but probably further away.
Okay, now I'm no longer being immediately chased again, because I'm going to slow my pace, and I'm going to skulk down probably 3 flights and then go into the suites on that level, where hopefully there will be an outside window and close enough to the gardens that I might be able to sneak out the window, hopefully.
This suite is another well-appointed, fancy suite. It is not quite as nice as the senator's space. For what he saved on getting higher up in the building, he probably spent on decor and style.
Yeah.
This one it's nice. It's a little bit more modest. And you do spot windows that as you get closer, you see that there is one of those green spaces, maybe a floor down from you, 10 feet, 15.
I'm going to sneak over to the window and just not poking my head up so that there's this nice big horned goat head silhouette, but kind of just leaning around the side to try and minimize my profile and look outside and see whether or not there's anyone immediately in the gardens that's kind of looking roughly in this direction, or whose attention might be caught if I go out this window.
No, there isn't.
But okay, well, fortunately, the power's still off to this part of the building, which means the alarms on the windows won't go off as I slide the windows open and lower myself down slowly, then down, out, then down to my fingertips, and then drop the last few feet.
And K-Tag just zips out after you.
Yeah. Then get behind the bushes again, and I'm going to sculpt my way along the walls until I get to a point where I can get over, ideally.
Okay.
And if I have to go up a level or two of the garden, then I will. But the important thing at the moment is I'm outside.
I think it's going to be tiers down, and you might be able to hop down into the top of a tree or something like that below you. You are looking around. You're far up, but there are enough of these tiers that you make your way slowly and surely you could get to that so-called ground level.
I do so as quietly as I can.
I think you do so, and I'll just roll a check on behalf of the people looking for you.
Will they be rolling against my passive stealth?
They will.
Then I will flip a light side point to
All right.
upgrade them, because my stealth, I don't have any ranks in. It'd just be normally 2 purple, so it'd be purple and red again for them.
We're looking at a purple and a red. I'm going to give them a setback for the foliage cover that you have.
Thank you.
And 1 for the darkness. They rolled an advantage. They don't spot you as you make your way slowly, stealthily through these gardens. You lose them. You get to the ground floor. There's nobody pursuing you.
I'm going to try to get out of the compound then, and probably get back into the sewers.
Okay. I don't think it's particularly hard. Everybody's looking in this building for you. They have you on security camera going wherever. Let's see. So if the power was on to the interior elevator door, anything in the hallway probably picked you up.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Yeah, they have you going up and have no idea that you went down. So they are not looking for you. And you exit the compound and head across the street and are able to get into the sewer.
Takes a deep breath. Right. I think we're going to need to lay low for a little bit before we go any further, because that's been noisy. And I've no idea where we're going to get to an upload server to get to AAN. He sighs, looks around at his surroundings in the sewer, very glad that he's kept his boots. Oh no, he's not got boots. Kind of looks at the filth covering his hooves and halfway up his trousers. Looks around and goes, "Well, looks like we're going to be here for a little bit longer, old chap."
K-Tag says,
Beats the mud on Mimban.
That it does, lad. That it does.
Smells a little better too. Well, probably. I don't know who knows.
I mean, it only a little bit, but I think you're about right. And then he heads off down the sewers.
So we will screen wipe to a day or so later, where we see Peabo and K-Tag in a different HoloNet cafe, accessing the message boards on one of the public terminals. There's a chat screen open with Neelig99.
I got the information you were after, Neelig, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to get off-world myself to get it back to my superiors. So, here you go. As I say, it's a slug throw with only 1 bullet, but aim it right and you can blow the kneecap off the world.
We thank you for what you've done. We'll see what we can do about the All Points Bulletin and the clones. Your information is good.
I don't like the sound of these dims and what they're up to. It goes against my principles. So while I'm stuck here on Coruscant, until we manage to get me back off-world to my squad, if I can help, you let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And then he kind of then he walks away, like in Hackers, just leaving the like in the Matrix, just kind of
leaving the screen.
Yeah.
And he walks out of this cafe. He finds himself in Dak Avenue, which was hit pretty hard in yesterday's battle. Every once in a while, he spots the bounty posters, and every once in a while sees his face, wanted for breaking into Senate property, alive, wanted for questioning. They pop up here and there. Is there anywhere else that he has to go? Or
No.
is he just going to hide out? Okay.
He's just going to hide out. He's got no contacts left on here since his squad died.
Yeah.
And he can't go... He's too wary of going to the Jedi because they will listen to the Senate over him, at least until he's got more concrete proof.
Mm-hmm.
Because having this evidence against the Dims is one thing, but will the Jedi care about that? Probably not. And they'll want more, and then it will get locked into the whole taking a very long time to go through that, by which point he could be dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, I suppose at the moment, a soldier of fortune wanted for a crime he definitely committed. And if you can find him, maybe you can hire...
As it so happens, as he walks away from this cafe, I will flip another dark side point, because in his ear, his secure comlink starts pinging again. He's got another incoming call.
Yep.
Are you looking for a job?
For the moment, aye, looks like.
Luckily for you, the Collective is hiring.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Coruscant Nights. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. To find out more about us and our projects, visit nightcastcreative.com. Thanks to Adam for playing on these episodes. Be sure to check out Adam's podcasts, two of my favorites, Force Majeure and Dungeon Majeure. You can find them anywhere you get your podcasts. And last but not least, don't forget about Donate for Destiny. Influence our Destiny pool and make a difference in children's lives. Check out nightcastcreative.com/destiny for more info and a link to donate.